All right, everybody, welcome on back. Continuing along our Friday to end out the week here, Friday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and streaming across Facebook and YouTube alikes here. Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Got a lot of stocks to talk about here going into this Friday afternoon, huh? Not bad to begin the afternoon here, guys. Great to see everybody, though. Kevin, David, Michael, D, Mark H, Mark R. I always feel the marks are in tandem here in the chat. Danny, Grant, Neil, Cliff, Gene, Ken, Leda, great to see you as always, loud and clear from all, so should be good to go. Now, like I'd said, we have a lot to talk about this afternoon. A pretty good start to begin. And I should really say that from the morning, but like I always like to do, let's begin by going right through the Dow Industrial. You could see at least heading into the afternoon, the Dow ended up dropping off and had bounced since and squeezing up nicely for the afternoon. Whereas really for the most part, this whole week, especially when I've been here in the afternoon with you guys, we've been looking at the Dow. It's just been in a tight range, kind of just stagnant, going sideways. I mean, hey, we've had a nice recovery at least heading into this Friday afternoon, so hopefully that continues, and a lot of stocks will look to move up with the market. So, let's begin by going through a couple of the other stocks, though. Like I had said, a couple of moves that we caught from earlier this morning, and more so what we'll be following heading into this close. So, to begin, I got to talk about INO one more time, and one more time, I got to switch to my pre-market settings here. There we go. All right, so INO ended up making a bit of a pullback at 9:30, ended up squeezing up shortly afterwards, though. Ended up, and I'll zoom in here, ended up making a huge breakout over big resistance. We had like 3 orders on the ask here at the time. You can't really see it on the chart, but if you could imagine, at 12:40, at 12:50, and at 12:60, that was not 12:50. Once INO ended up breaking through each of those iceberg orders, and you could see the corresponding volume spikes after, this thing took off like a missile. So, whereas I expected personally to see a little bit more of a drop-off heading into this afternoon, or at least heading into the morning, ended up breaking above resistance, ended up squeezing up much higher, and really, kind of had a life of its own. So the INO trade heading into this Friday afternoon, well, as of now, it's making a lower high. I told you guys here in the chat board, in our trading room at least, this was due for a pullback. For as much as this has gone up almost seamlessly, when will this pull back? When will this make a sharper retracement on the way down? So, we ended up seeing that essentially off of 15, the pop and drop from 15. And for right now, I have to say it's still holding pretty strong, albeit it's making a lower high. It's still kind of making higher lows and holding 1450 as support. So easy to say. It hasn't necessarily been the easiest trade by nature. It's been a nice steady trend earlier in the morning, but INO we'll put on our watch list at least heading into the end of this week. So write that down to begin. Now, alongside INO, we had a couple of other stocks run up almost seamlessly throughout the day, and TLRY, not related to INO, TLRY pot stock here. TLRY ended up making a nice breakout heading into the mid-morning itself, broke out over resistance at 7. And from there, similar to INO, very nice run, higher lows, breaking above major resistance over and over. 750 we were calling out in the trading room here, and ended up making a huge pop from that point. I mean, as you could see, ended up running pretty much right up to 8. Now, I always like to show this because it goes to show, sometimes and oftentimes rather, history has a tendency to repeat itself. So we have traded TLRY, not every day, and certainly more off than on, but off its IPO back in 2018. This is no reverse split. This is this has nothing to do with any inflated price. TLRY made a natural run, guys, from its IPO price around like 25, 30 bucks all the way up towards just about 280, 300. So to see a stock run up that much, well, and to see it come all the way crashing down to break all-time lows heading into March, well, you got to expect some sort of recovery, some sort of retracement up. And we've caught that on TLRY, as you could see across the last month, going back into the end of March, huge squeeze from 4 essentially up to 10. And right now, at least, making a nice run. So this TLRY trade, we're going to add to our list here for the afternoon as well. Look to see if this could break above resistance at 8, at least later on. Maybe we'll catch that in the final 30 minutes of our afternoon. Very quick, if TLRY is moving up, I always like to check in with a couple of the other pot stocks like Kronos, CRON. Nice move at least heading into the early afternoon from 6 up to 620. Cheapy, ACB, Aurora Cannabis, not much going on there, huh? CGC Canopy Growth. Nice run on CGC, I have to say. Sharper move, at least, that we were able to take advantage of, or that we could have. Broke above 15 there. So I'll put CGC on our side list. If we have a short list heading into the afternoon, why not pair them together at least? All right, so alongside that, we let the hits keep on coming, guys. Now, this one ended up just taking a bit of a hit. And of course, we were talking about this in the trading room just heading into this meeting, right? And for all of you guys streaming across Facebook and YouTube, if you don't know, well, now you know. Zoom ended up squeezing up nicely heading into the early afternoon up to 180. And then, well, news came out, right? So we're all talking about the news here in the chat board. Facebook ended up launching a video sharing program or software that allows up to 50 participants at once, essentially a competitor, a big competitor to Zoom here. So, for right now, ended up seeing a bit of a drop off. Now, here's the thing. Fausto ended up bottom fishing this, though. He ended up, I think he got in right off 164, roughly around there. He wrote that in the chat board at 229, in at 164. So caught the bounce perfectly. Obviously, a very expensive stock, big spread. But, with that, of course, more for advanced traders, this trade, this Zoom trade. For as much as it was going up, it seemed like a pretty easy run, breaking all-time highs. But now with this type of drop-off, just, keep in mind, if this continues to hold support, we might get a nice run back up, perhaps up to like 175 or so. Otherwise, though, just be very mindful of support coming in on the bid. This would be a great stock to use Bookmap for, use the level 4 with here. So again, we'll keep an eye on this one heading into the close, not for everyone here, but for our level 5 traders. Zoom ZM will add to our watch list. All right, what else do we have here, guys? We'll go through one more quickly just because we do have class coming up this afternoon at 3:05 Eastern time, guys, for all of us here in the trading room at least. We're going to be finishing up the Phase 2 stock course curriculum with lesson number 4. Ken's saying that MESO is the early morning star. And yeah, right now, Ken, it is pushing up beautifully here. Great call. At least for the afternoon now. And like you said, of course, beforehand, we covered this early in pre-market. Fausto gave his analysis on this trade, at least heading into the market open with you guys. And shortly after the open, popped. And then unfortunately, got halted on the way down. And for the most part, that was the end of the run. So really, once it got halted on the way down, I personally took my eyes off it. And from here now, Ken, at least, like you had called out, nice recovery for the meantime. So, yeah, easy to say, not the easiest trade, like I had said about INO, but the MESO trade, I guess we'll put back on our list. Resistance on the ask, you could see at 16 and at 1620. I actually see that from my level too. All right, so we would have went over MESO to begin if we went from top to bottom here, top on the gainers list still at this point. So what we'll do is just go from top to bottom, see what else we can get. MDGS, unfortunately, and not even unfortunately, I have to say, this made a hell of a run. This made a big move. This ended up doing pretty well for us. It was a short-lived run, though. That's where I was a bit frustrated on this trade. The MDGS did very nice. So, it took a little bit. I was calling this one out off of resistance level at $2.30. There was an iceberg order on the ask shortly after the market opened up. It took a few attempts. It had some nasty shakes. And, it came to a point where I didn't think it was going to make the move. I hung on, I had my stop set, and thankfully, very fortunately, we ended up getting the pop and, of course, the ensuing move after. So, yes, this MDGS did very nice on the way up, but much is the case for a lot of these small cap stocks, guys. Once this tops off at resistance, fails to break higher, the volume tends to drop off. The volume traded, that is, per minute tends to drop off pretty sharply, and, well, as does the stock. So, MDGS now at this point, although it kind of seems it's at supported too, for the meantime, we're going to pass. Now, I'm going to skip over a bunch of these. I'll tell you why. We got a bunch of stocks like below $1 on our list. If any of them you guys see are making an exceptional move, then let me know. But I'd rather kind of just conserve time, just skip ahead here. So, CHK, nice run, Chesapeake Energy. But I have to say, though, ever since that crazy reverse split, this thing, of course, has been on a tear. But the spread's been out of control, very similar to the MESO. So, it made a nice little move up from 35 to 38. For the meantime, we'll hold off on this at least for now. Perhaps MESO looks a little bit sharper on its trend up. Oh, I didn't mean to even click on this one. Cheapy. All right, CAPR is at 260, 262. One of our students, Scott, called this out at the time. Great call when he called it out. I was saying to him, and you guys hear that, this stock CAPR, CAPR, has been a huge pre-market tease stock. So it hasn't really been that great of a day trade. I think we've had one day where it was pretty nice, at least for now. And literally, as I'm talking, it's making a little bit of an inch up. So you know what? I guess I'll add this to our list. Hopefully, it ends up making the run that we would want it to make on most days here. So look to see if this could break higher. Resistance currently on the ask, not much. Looks like there was a 12,000, 11,000 share print, 13K print here at 261. So maybe it just broke above resistance for now. Maybe this could be the move that we're looking for right now. So keep a good eye on the CAPR actually. OSTK, this should be a no-brainer. And I say that, for more so the students that have been with us in our trading room for a while, because, OSTK is a familiar name. We ended up trading this stock, for several years on and off, but more recently and more notably, going back into September of this past year, a huge run from 14 to 30. And then unfortunately it crashed, came right back down, a nasty shake on the way down there. But, at least for today, ended up making a big pop early in the morning, has squeezed up all throughout the day. Looks a little shaky here. Kind of seems like 1050 has been holding as a level where it broke above it and then pulled back, right? You could see that. Held 1050, you had your false breakout, and right now it's retesting the level. So again, similar to CAPR, this could be a move that's about to happen, this OSTK. So good setup here, as I would say. Fausto just said, I closed out Zoom and sold my swing. I will buy it back cheaper. All righty. Let's see. What else do we have on the gainer side, guys? We have that crazy stock from last week? Liberty TripAdvisor, LTRPB. Looks like it's kind of fallen off, though, on the 5-minute chart, so I'm going to pass. And I wasn't going to add this. I would have added the cheaper one, the one that traded a lot more volume to it, but it just seems like it's kind of flat. Let me zoom out on my chart here. Current time is 2:42, so we got some time here before class. Let's see if there's anything else that looks of interest here. PSTI, there's tight range, not doing much. This VXRT, Fausto called this out earlier, and it's making the same type of move that it's making, or that it was making when we were talking about it. It's a nice level 1 stock. It's slow, it's steady, but man, this thing has been extremely steady. It almost seems very flat as of now, but it is trading at the highs of the day. We've been trading this stock on and off over the last month and a half. You can see on the daily chart a lot of down days, right? See these big red down days on the daily chart? You know what that indicates? Clearly it indicates that the close was lower than the open, but for a lot of those gaps and gap ups overnight, it was a great pre-market trade. VXRT, we've been doing really well on this stock, more so in the pre-market. So it is pretty interesting to see it, squeezing up nicely. Well, it popped earlier today, and it's near the highs of the day right now, heading into the close. So I don't mind at least adding this to our list. VXRT. All right, INO, we already put that one on there. No brainer, at least for now, to add to the list. ATHX, familiar name. Nice volume breakout heading into 2 o'clock. It is shortable if it ends up going the complete other way. And then otherwise, if you look on the daily chart, there is a gap to fill. So this ATHX I like. XXII, another cheapie, kind of slow. So Chuck call out Wayfair before. There was a comment, I think, from Chuck regarding Wayfair. Nice run from earlier. Pretty pricey, much like Zoom. Zoom we're adding to our list still, just more so given the drop off. What was that last one I had? That was the ATHX that I added. That's right. All right, let's see. TLRY, AYTU. This one's been a bit of a tease. It's moving up nicely, I should say now. I'll come back to this AYTU trade. We have a lot on our watch list already, guys, but that being, the markets are up, so we're likely to find more on the gainer side here, at least heading into the afternoon. Crocs, there's our AMRN trade, AMRN. It's holding over 750, another stock that made a big move up earlier on this morning. Gap fill opportunity too on the daily chart, so hard for me to not add this to our list. We're going to have a fun class coming up. All right, you know what? I think that'll do it. I got WWE here on the gainer side also off of earnings. All right, let's hop over to the losers list. Normally, I'd say there's a bunch of stuff hard to borrow, and well, there is. A couple that aren't, though. SBS. Smart money print just came in now, but it's just too flat for me even at this point. It's at the lows, and it is shortable, so if it ends up breaking, then perhaps that could be a nice short opportunity. But let's see if there's anything on a steadier trend or maybe just approaching a level, perhaps. This ERJ looks like it topped off at 6. It's pulling back down a bit right now. Ended up dropping off earlier on this morning, so this could be in contention. Tight spread, liquid order book. Passes the eyeball test, I'll tell you that much. You know what? Yeah, we'll add ERJ. Nice level 1 to level 2 stock. Bit of a shake here, but I'd still say more of a level 1 to 2. Let's see. I think that might just about do it, to be very transparent with you guys. I don't see much else that would be shortable or at least easy to borrow. Of course, you could always look to, request the shares right from your broker if you have the ability to. Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stocks to work with heading into this afternoon. If there's anything else, guys, let me know. Because really, if you guys call out a setup, a trade that looks much better than one that I have maybe near the bottom of this list, maybe I'll do a little substitution, right? So let me know if there's anything else that you guys see that's worth watching. So Cliff saying CCL at 12. Not up or down a whole lot to where I would put it on the list right away. It's a tradable stock. CCL is on my side list. Looks like cruise lines could be squeezing up with the market, right? So, keep that in mind. Oxy at 14 says, Ken, I'm just reading up right now, Ken. Yep, same thing. Oxy looks like it's squeezing up a bit off the bottom there from 12 o'clock. Likely the same to be said with APA, right? Apache. Yep. All tradable, guys. Hey, if you made money on those stocks across this past week consistently, and, if anything from the gainers list or from, the CTU afternoon list here doesn't really catch your eye, and, stick with your bread and butter by all means. All right. I think that we're good, guys. I don't see much else in the chat board. I see one comment perhaps across social. Yeah, the AYTU trade I see here from YouTube right now, actually. Just too slow. Unless if it ended up, that's squeaking up there, right? I'd be remiss to not put this on our list and then for this to run, right, Brian, from YouTube? So this will be our last one. AYTU. Nice level 1. So we'll give this we'll give this some interest. We'll give this some focus, and hopefully we'll end up continuing to squeeze up. It looks like we had resistance at 130 from the chart, just simple breakout over 130, held nicely as support. And, right now I would say just 10-cent levels here on this trade, 140, 150, probably 160 ahead. I'd say 150 would be your major resistance heading into this afternoon. All right, guys, so now we have 11. Big list, and much like we covered here from class this morning, phase 2, lesson 3 of our stock course. Keep in mind, guys, from this list, stick to this list, and if there's anything else that you are very comfortable following, then focus on that. But if there's anything else I could share, it would simply be to just pick a couple to begin. Don't try and focus on all 10 or 11 of these. You're going to miss all of the moves perhaps, and otherwise just overwhelm yourself. So start with a couple from this list, be diligent with plotting out your support resistance, focus on the volume, and aside from that, we'll look to work together as a team here in this trading room heading into the end of this day. For all of us here in the trading room, at least, for those of you joining class, I'll look to post the link coming up. For anyone across social media, Facebook, YouTube alike, that would like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, about this meeting itself, about the trading room, about our online course room, feel more than free to give a call to the number on the banner below, and one of our education advisors will give you more details. All right, guys, aside from that, I look forward to seeing most of us in class. For those of you not, best of luck heading into the end of this day. Take care.